In China, Chairman Mao used the strategy of vigilante gangs to target his enemies. Political opponents, intellectuals, and writers, college professors in China, were attacked using youth gangs, Red Guards, state-sponsored vigilante gangs, who entered the homes of the intellectuals, beat them, dragged them out into the streets, and humiliated them, and even killed them. In this way, Chairman Mao used opposing groups of people, often artificially set against each other, in order to retain his hold on illegitimate power. In Cuba, Fidel Castro uses the strategy of what is called a contra. In effect, much the same strategy. The people in the neighborhood form up around the house of the dissident writer or intellectual and begin chanting slogans and clapping and saying derogatory things and using mob tactics and mob violence to intimidate, denounce, and physically abuse the targeted dissident writer. These political activists are attacked in their homes. Plainclothes police within the mob emerge and enter the house, drag the intellectual or the dissident outside bodily, and then beat them in the street. The crowd participates in these actions and then gradually disperses. A day or two later, the state police will return and arrest the dissident and throw them into prison. These strategies have been adopted by U.S. intelligence agencies surreptitiously. The effect of vigilante violence against potential enemies, as well as setting opposing groups of people against each other in order to control them. In the United States, the targets of this state-sponsored vigilante violence are whistleblowers, political dissidents, and potential enemies on a government hit list. This program is much more complex because it incorporates a weapons development program, perfecting the use of anti-personnel, microwave, and extremely low-frequency weapons upon these dissidents and whistleblowers and targets of opportunity. However, these vigilante gangs that have been initiated and recruited by the U.S. government are in effect experimental groups themselves. The intelligence agencies are experimenting on just how far they can push groups of people and how far individuals will go and what it takes to make regular people within the community commit antisocial acts such as harassment, assault, breaking and entering, and even murder. The use of these stalking groups has a very strong racial and religious component. Different religions are set against each other, and religious groups are set upon atheists and agnostics, as well as different races such as Hispanics being used on Caucasians, or Caucasians being used on minorities. This component is the age-old strategy of divide and conquer. In order to motivate these vigilante groups, it is necessary to portray the target in the worst light possible. Initially, the standard operating procedure when a person is chosen for the hit list and for this experimental program that I call Monarch, these people are placed under audio and video surveillance for an extended period, perhaps 6 months or more, while a psychological profile and a personal contacts and personal habits profile is compiled. Virtually every bit of information about the individual that can be used against them is recorded. These video recordings are also edited to portray the target in the worst light possible. Now, these anti-personnel microwave weapons have a powerful effect on human emotions. Just by the very fact of microwaving the hypothalamus, human beings are sent into states of fear, anger, or giddiness. In other words, just by microwaving people, you can control their emotional states. Also, there are numerous patents that allow these weapon systems to, in effect, control and direct purposeful human thinking and purposeful human behavior. I submit the work of Dr. Igor Smirnov, the work of Dr. Janet Morris, an expert in non-lethal weapons, the work of Dr. Michael Persinger, and Dr. Alan Fry and Dr. Jose Delgado, among others, as well as the patents held by Robert A. Monroe and Malik, just to name a few. These ELF and microwave technologies can project an electronic signal that the brain entrains or locks onto, just like if you hit one tuning fork and set it vibrating and then place it in proximity to another tuning fork, both will begin to vibrate in unison. The human brain, when hit with this signal, entrains and locks onto this signal and will emulate it. The signal may be one of anger, fear, happiness, or any emotion that can be replicated, can be sent to the target in order to control them. Add to this the work of Dr. Igor Smirnov and others. It is possible to use what is termed silent sound. By using microwave frequencies, one can project a voice command above the level of conscious hearing. That is, the conscious mind does not hear the command. However, the unconscious mind does register what is being said and acts upon it. In the words of Dr. Smirnov, quote, as if it were a command from God, unquote. These technologies, the three that I have mentioned, are overlapping and work quite well and have been perfected in the last 50 to 20 years. These are mature weapon systems and technologies being used on these targets. In effect, the target is hit with this type of technology, and they are agitated, angered, and placed in an intellectual state where they speak out against organized religion, where they curse God. This video can then be edited and shown to the gang stalking group that might perhaps be a church group or an anti-abortion group. These people see the target cursing religion, cursing God, and they are motivated to believing that this is an undesirable person, and that by harassing them in an organized way in the community, and in effect driving them out of the community, that they are doing God's work. The other main component of these vigilante groups are setting separate races against each other. In effect, the target will be prompted using these technologies to make inflammatory statements. These racist pronouncements will then be edited and shown to the minority or to the Caucasian groups in order to motivate them to attack that person in the community as a racist, as someone who is against them because of their race. This enables them psychologically, allows them, gives them permission, if you will, to harass, to break into their homes, to destroy their personal property, and even to assault or perhaps kill them. Remember, these vigilante groups are in effect experimental groups themselves, being fooled and utilized by U.S. intelligence agencies to target political dissidents in the community.